So let's start our first event, Future Ventures, which aims to give the early stage startups a platform to showcase their concept. This session is moderated by Mr. Vaibhav Dayal, alumnus of 1990 batch Electrical Engineering IITBHU, as well as an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad. He is a management consultant working with companies in areas of scaling up, turnaround, and pre-funding structuring. Till recently, he was the Chief Strategy Officer of Patanjali. Over to you, Mr. Vaibhav.
Thank you, Kirti, and very nice to be here this morning. Welcome, everybody. Welcome once again to the start of this brilliant day ahead. So our first section is the future trailblazers, right? This term is, of course, self-explanatory. The trailblazers are, it said that today's trailblazers are tomorrow's torchbearers. So you got to pick the trailblazers correctly because they got to light up the world tomorrow, not torch it. In a while, you'll see that we have picked the really finest, some of the fine talent coming out of our own alumni and doing wonderful things in the world. Okay, so without much ado, let me introduce the first trailblazer of today. That is Abhilasha Purwar. Abhilasha, hi, good morning there.
Hi.
Good morning. So let me introduce Abhilasha briefly, and then the panel will come in to talk to Abhilasha. So Abhilasha is doing her own venture called Blue Sky Analytics. She is a 2012 batch, dual degree applied chemistry. Well, after the rigor of IITBHU, instead of picking up a job in a large company, which she did actually, but sooner than she picked, she actually chucked that to work in a think tank. In a think tank which is tasked with the thing of reducing poverty in the world, called Abdul Latif Jameel Poverty Action Lab. She spent her time there before she moved on to Yale as a Fulbright scholar. And after Fulbright scholarship at Yale, doing her stint there, she came back, and for the last 2 years, she has been running her own startup, Blue Sky Analytics. Not to forget, she's also a certified yoga instructor. She will be talked to by our brilliant student, Ishita Sharma. She is second year electrical engineering, and her mentor and senior alum, Astha Sharma. Astha is 2006 pass out of IITBHU and also subsequently from IIM Lucknow. And after working in corporates for a couple of years, she has been an entrepreneur for the last 6 years. Over to you, Abhilasha, Ishita, and Astha.
Thank you, Vaibhav sir. So welcome, Abhilasha, a trailblazer. So we would like to know, the climate is not a topic where many young entrepreneurs are working. So we would like to know from you what inspired you to work in this, pick this up. What is the problem at large that you're solving and your vision behind it?
So I think the first statement is a little flawed, that climate is actually now a sector which a lot of entrepreneurs globally are looking at, including like global venture funds and large growth equity funds. So climate tech, I think for 2020 was one of the fastest growing segments. We were the first climate tech investment in India in 2020, but like subsequently just 2 months later, one of our fellow companies from the network just raised a seed round as well, and they have been growing with a viral speed. The problem, I think, all the climate tech entrepreneurs are solving is that of simply existence, which is quite funny because, as you mentioned, like it feels almost that lay person does not understand how critical the situation globally or at a planetary scale is, and everyone is completely comfortable with the fact that we are going to live for next God knows how many years, and our families and children will thrive, which simply is not the fact. Like data simply does not point to that. And that is a number like we have recently crossed, I think 415 parts per million of CO2. And in the last 800,000 years of our planet's existence, we haven't crossed 300 ppm. So from 300 to 418, that's a very sizable number. And that should, you're asking me the question, why am I doing a climate tech venture? I ask everybody else, why are you not doing anything related to climate change? Because I think survival or simply existence of our race and ourselves is the primary goal.
Yes. So I think Ishita will go next.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, as you all know, you have collaborated with various labs and colleges across the globe, including MIT and Stanford. So, could you tell us about how you were able to collaborate and get this global platform and support?
So I think I have always focused on collaborating with people and choosing people over a brand name or whatever it is. My first job, as Vaibhav had mentioned, I had multiple options. And I picked up my manager, who was a Columbia and Stanford alum, who actually now is head of product in Blue Sky. So it's always been a people-based decision. And I think we are collaborating with MIT because we have a lot of like people who we work with there. And then Stanford Angels is one of the investors in Blue Sky. Hence, we have collaborated with them. Also, they're really close. So MIT and Harvard are just 2 hours from Yale, where I was for 2 years. So I think it's just like vicinity.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, as somebody in a field like yours, as an entrepreneur, would you emphasize more on deepening customer relationships or expanding your customer base?
So this question typically goes well for B2C startup, while we are B2B startup. And for a B2C startup, I think you can't really answer. I don't think there is a silver bullet answer to it. The first one would be customer retention, and the second one would be like traction. And I think sometimes metrics change on a month-on-month or quarter-on-quarter basis. Some quarters, you're like, for the last 1 year, our focus has been product development and more focus on building relations with the potential customers and partners. Maybe in Q3 of 2021, our focus will be completely on traction and customer acquisition. So yeah, whether a company is focusing on retention versus traction, it could be a function of simply the time journey of the company.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Abhilasha, one more thing, we would like to little bit know more about your work. So I think you're working on pollution. You also picked up forest fire data. So just talk a little more about what all parameters on the climate aspect you're working on.
So our goal is actually to almost become like Bloomberg for environmental data. And within that realm, we are not like super picky. We look at what the opportunities are, and if the opportunity lies in water or in forest fires or in air pollution, we go for them. We started with air pollution because it was a much simpler parameter to analyze. And then I think we were based in Gurgaon, and you can see a lot of pollution in Gurgaon. Actually, just outside the window, it's super foggy and it's pretty terrible. Hence, we started with that. We then progressed to forest fires, which was the outcome of crop fires, which happen in Punjab, which are like one of the factors for such higher pollution. But then now we are working on urban informatics, which is like seeing how cities grow, and then on a lot of water quality, water quantity, flood risk, drought risk, glacial melt. So our niche as a company is actually to analyze satellite data. And within that realm of satellite data, whatever information we can extract out from it, we work on that. The main USP that we have is that we've built a technology platform literally from code base up. So a lot of times people, especially juniors, apply for data analytics job while they do not know coding, and they have done some data analytics in like R or Stata or whatever. That's not what we do. We analyze satellite data and other answers. We analyzed 24 terabytes of data last month. So you can understand the volume of the data that we analyze and the whole cloud and everything, the technologies we use. And from those input data parameters, whatever relevant for the market, we're able to extract out, we do that. Our goal is to sort of provide a complete picture of the planet. We call it a digital twin of the planet. So at a pixel by pixel level, you get a full information stack, just like you will get for a human being or for a financial or transaction, like a bank transaction information. And then we sell those data sets to a variety of customers.
In fact, this is a very nice idea, the twin picture of the planet, digital twin of the planet, because yes, you're right. The entire planet is being impacted by this. And so some more bit on your future plans before we close it. We have a little time, I know.
So we are actually expanding out now. We are expanding into the US and Netherlands. I'm just trying to book my tickets and get out. We are also out for raising Series A, about, let's say, hopefully $10-12 million. That'll be great. We're already a 25 people team spread across the world now. So I think like a lot of future plan, 2021 is a pretty critical year. We're trying to like really get to a place as a global player. I think we have got reasonable recognition in the past 2 years and have built the product to a pretty great extent. But then we really want to showcase extremely highly technical and very high quality technology and data product out of India, but then for the global market. So that's one of the goals.
No, that's awesome that you
Great.
are working. Yeah. So over to you, sir.
Great. If I may add a closing question, which I'm sure a lot of our audience would be interested in. What is your revenue model, Abhilasha?
We sell data as a service. So like we have a lot of data APIs. And for instance, if let's say a BHU student wants to work with some water quality data or something, for them, it's going to be either free or 70% like discount or something. A lot of nonprofits and think tanks, we give data for high discount, but for companies like in insurance sector, or if you're a phone company or you're a fitness band and you want to display air quality or water quality or whatever onto your phone, or you're a financial company and want to use information of carbon emissions of a power plant for investment decisions, and you got to really pay a big buck. That's
quite a large addressable universe, I would say. Thank you so much. It was great having you. Great job, Astha and Ikshita. Wonderful.